The 2021 NFL Draft has concluded, and what a weekend it was. Seeing hundreds of young men to get to live out their childhood dreams of becoming professional football players and potentially retire their parents is truly one of the most special things we have in sports. Now, I released 2 videos over the past few days, one discussing the grades and analysis of the first round, and one discussing the biggest winners of the draft so far, that was released shortly after the 4th round started on Saturday. Now that the full draft has concluded, we are going to discuss some of the biggest and winners and losers of the entire draft, from teams to players and to everything in between. Now, I do want to say the format of this video is going to be different from the past videos, as you will see in a minute. I will be doing the face cam, and I have done this before, but it will not be like the way that it previously was. We are going to discuss everything, and if you would like to know the reason for the face cam during the video, then stick around to the end because I will explain. Now, but before we dive into everything that happened over the past few days, please like the video and subscribe to the channel, as each only take a second to do, and it would be very much appreciated. Now let's begin. Start today's video by discussing one of the biggest losers in the entire draft, and it is the Green Bay Packers organization. Obviously, we know over the past couple days that word leaked out that Aaron Rodgers, under no circumstances, will be back. He has even gone on record saying that he would pay the $23.5 million back to the Packers organization to not play for them again. Having your franchise quarterback, and ultimately, Rodgers is one of the best quarterbacks of all time, leak out and say, yeah, I'm not going to play for you on draft weekend again, is a huge L for the entire Packers organization. Now, we live in a world where a lot of you guys probably also watch basketball, and a lot of you guys probably watched the Last Dance series last year with Michael Jordan, and that documented his entire career. One of the whole episodes was based on MJ's ability to hold grudges and take things personally, and if you did him wrong, and in the early part of his career in the mid-80s, he would come back and get you, whether it was in 96 or whatever. He would come back and get you because he held that grudge. The grudges MJ held is nothing compared to the grudges Aaron Rodgers holds, and there are rumors, and obviously I can't confirm or deny them, that he doesn't talk to his parents because of grudges he holds. Now, what do you think the grudges he holds against the Packers organization is when they drafted a quarterback last year in the midst of Rodgers' career? Rodgers responded this year by having a 48-5 TD to INT season. Large part to having a first ballot Hall of Famer come out and openly say, I will not play for this franchise again, and openly say, I will pay $23 million to not play for this franchise again, and having an okay draft, not an overly great draft. I did like the Amari Rodgers selection. I also like the Josh Myers. I was hesitant on Eric Stokes, but having an okay draft and not a killer draft, the Green Bay Packers come out of draft weekend as big-time losers. Now, the next team we go to has a big winner and a big loser in the same organization. The winner as a whole is the Denver Broncos. The loser is Melvin Gordon. So, first things first, their 9th overall pick, they went with Patrick Surtain with Justin Fields on the board. We will see if that turns out to be a questionable selection in 5 years or so, 3 years or so. But anyways, I did like the Patrick Surtain selection. You have to stop Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes for the next 10 years, and how do you do that? Elite corner play. Loved that pick. Now, they took Javonte Williams, 35 overall. They even traded up to get him. Obviously, that does not signal good for Melvin Gordon, and because of that, he is a big loser. Javonte is going to play a lot more than Phillip Lindsay did last year, as Phillip Lindsay had about 120 carries on the year. So Javonte, being the 35th overall pick and how much money they owe him, not to mention a relatively high draft pick, he will play a lot, and that will diminish Melvin's carries. Now, not only did the Broncos win because of the Patrick Surtain selection, I absolutely loved their day 2 and day 3. They took Quinn Myers, the guard from Wisconsin Whitewater. We saw what his workout videos were. I do like that selection near the end of the 3rd round. It is a low-risk, high-reward situation, and when you get those in the 3rd round, you can't hate the pick. Baron Browning, like that selection, but the 2 biggest selections I loved from the Denver Broncos were safeties Caden Stearns and Jamar Johnson. I also liked Kerry Vince in the corner in the 7th round, but I love Jamar Johnson, and I could not believe he stayed on the board as long as he did. I was screaming for the Minnesota Vikings to take him in the 4th round. Ultimately, they did not, but I think the Broncos have a 5th round starter in Jamar Johnson for the next at least 3 to 5 years. How long it takes him to get on the field, we will soon find out. But anytime you can get a starter in the 5th round plus is a steal, no matter who it is. As long as they start for a decent amount of time, it will prove to be a steal, because most of the guys in those are rotational players, and if they ever get 5+ starts, then that is successful for those standards. So to get a player in Jamar Johnson's caliber that late is a huge win for the Denver Broncos. Now, next, another big winner is Sam Darnold of the Carolina Panthers. Carolina was selecting at 8, and they had a choice between 2 pretty good draft prospects in Justin Fields and Mac Jones, and they went with Neither of them. So they went with J.C. Horn, a corner, to continue on Matt Rule's defense, and for Sam, that is a pretty big win in itself. There was questions heading into the draft. Will Carolina try and trade up even with a division rival in Atlanta at 4 overall, or will they stay put at 8 and draft whatever the BPA to them was? And that looks like what they did. They got J.C. Horn, a terrific corner from South Carolina. J.C. stays home, and later they even got Shi Smith from South Carolina, another good receiver for Sam to throw to. So Sam will enter 2021, the 4th year of his career, with without a doubt the best coaching and weapons he has ever had in Joe Brady, Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson. Now, if you do not think Sam Darnold is a good NFL quarterback, I could fully understand that and would understand why you would think that, but even if you are that person, you have to at least acknowledge that he has had horrendous supporting cast until now. So we will find out, and Carolina believes in him, and we will find out whether he can get it done with Christian McCaffrey, DJ Moore, and Robbie Anderson. Now, another winner from the draft was the Baltimore Ravens. They are a tremendous organization from top to bottom, and they have been very successful over the past 25 years, and for good reason. Ozzie Newsome started the whole thing, and then he passed it down to Eric DeCosta, and the transition was seamless. They had 2 first-round picks Thursday night, and they took Rashad Bateman. Now, some of you Ravens fans did search Rashad Bateman to see what you found, and you found my video from a couple months ago, and I said it in one point. If the Baltimore Ravens take him, basically, I'm begging you guys to take him. It'll help your passing game, and Lamar Jackson would be very happy. And I absolutely loved that selection, and it was my second favorite pairing in the draft, only to JOK to the Raiders. Absolutely loved it. And Jason Owe, despite not having a sack in his final year at Penn State, if there is a team that can get something out of him, it is the Baltimore Ravens. Now, they started out day 2 with no picks in the second round because of the Orlando Brown trade with the swapping of the picks with Kansas City. So they didn't pick until 94 overall, and they took Ben Cleveland, a guard from Georgia. And at times in 2020, we saw the Ravens struggle mightily on the offensive line. So absolutely love this selection. They addressed their top 3 priorities with the top 3 selections they had to start the draft. The only selection I truly did not like they had was Brandon Stevens at the corner from SMU. It left a lot of people scratching their heads, kind of wondering who is that guy. But if you're nitpicking with a 3rd round pick, a second 3rd round pick at that, as the only selection you didn't like an entire team's draft, then that is a very good draft overall. They took Tylan Wallace, and he was in a lot of people's top 60 or 65 players, and they took him at 131. And to get a second receiver in the draft after getting a number 1 receiver in Rashad Bateman, another win for the Ravens. I also like the Shaun Wade selection, great value at 160 overall, and I did like Ben Mason, the fullback. It is essentially Pat Ricard 2.0. Now, whether Ben Mason makes the team or not is to be seen, but if they have Ben Mason and Pat Ricard, the 312-pound fullback, both on the field at the same time, it's going to be hard to stop that team, given that Pat Ricard does catch the ball, in addition to, obviously, Lamar Jackson running the football. Now, the final team we will discuss that I don't think had a good draft is the Dallas Cowboys. For as good of a 2020 draft as they had, selecting players like CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, and Bradley Anae, especially where they drafted Anae, I don't think they had as successful as a 2021 draft. They selected Micah Parsons in the 1st round, and I like that because he's going to play in a defense where he will maximize his success. We talk about Patrick Mahomes maximizing his success with Andy Reid, Tyreek Hill, and Travis Kelce, and I think it's going to be that kind of situation for Micah Parsons. Not to say he's going to be a defensive player of the year and everything else that Mahomes has won, but with playing with linebackers like Jalen Smith and Leighton Vander Esch, I do think Parsons can maximize his full potential. But Kelvin Joseph, I thought, was a hair early for where they select him at 44 overall, and I did not like their day 2. We said that yesterday's video, and I really did not like their day 3 at all, and it was highlighted by, and I'm going to let you look up the details, Josh Ball, the offensive tackle for Marshall. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't think Dallas improved that much as a team, but with the return of Dak, they are probably going to be a pretty good team, and they probably are going to win the NFC East in 2021. But in terms of drafting and in terms of looking at this team 3 years from now with these projected players and how they're going to project at the NFL level, I don't think it was a good draft for them. And if I were to place a grade on it, I would give it a C+, because again, I do think Micah Parsons will be a Pro Bowler, but after that, it is pretty slim. Now, as we wrap up today's video, the reason for the face cam and for this style of video is I'm going to be open and honest with you guys. From a content creating standpoint, I enjoy this 1,000,000% more than the standard of what I usually do is I just read off the script and just go with it. And I'm going to be honest, I enjoy this so much more. It's not even close how much I enjoyed doing today's video versus doing a couple of videos in the past week. Now, film study is different because if I'm trying to show you guys something like we did with the Zach Wilson being the boomer bust or the Rashad Bateman, that is something entirely different where I'm pointing specific things out. I couldn't have my face taken up a quarter of the screen. That is entirely different ballgame. But in something like this, I just enjoyed it a lot more, and it's, you know, it was a lot about that, was just enjoyment. And not to say I didn't enjoy the other style of videos, because I mean, I get to talk about the NFL and you guys support me, which I am forever grateful for, and I could not appreciate it. I really can't express how much I do, but this style is just way more fun for me to do, and I hope you guys do enjoy this, because I ultimately would like to go to this. Now, I fully understand not wanting to go to the full face cam, as that was probably, admittedly looking back, a little overdoing, but I do like this, you know, quarter in the bottom of the camera. I do enjoy that. So anyways, that is going to wrap up today's video. I just at least wanted to be open and honest with you guys and transparent with you of the process of making videos, because a normal video takes 3 to 4, sometimes 5 hours to make, and this took me about like an hour 45, 2 hours, because I was fully into it. And the other times it's just like kind of just drag sometimes, where I'm just like, man, like I just can't wait to get this thing done. But this was awesome, and I absolutely loved it today. So I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did, and until next time, as always, love you guys. Deuces. Peace.